Alright, quick intro. We didn't do an intro.
What do you mean intro? Like, hi?
Yes. Hey y'all.
Hi!
That was all the intro we needed apparently.
That would be our intro, so if you got kind of weird about that. Alright guys, welcome. We've got another video going on. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just jabbering away.
This is our intro.
This is our intro,
Okay, very good.
just in case you're wondering.
Alright.
Hi, we're us.
I'm just going to stop recording now.
Probably not a bad idea.
But we do have a floor plan for what we've been calling the medium home. The way we came up with this floor plan is we basically just started with plain graph paper and started drawing. Our first idea was for a 20 by 20 foot cabin, and we took into account the approximate wall thickness we wanted for the 2x6 studs so that we'd be able to get some more insulation in there. We also knew that we would want a large 10-foot loft as a bedroom for our children. After that, I made templates with all the dimensions of the things we needed to fit into that space. Things like our bed, a wood-burning stove, our table, and a couch for some seating areas. And the reason I've got 3 couches is because the couch we own that's in storage right now is one of those modular couches. And so I just made a template for every possible configuration we might use inside of this medium house. We also knew we were going to need a bathroom. And so this is me trying to fit that in. And then we just went to town. This is a process that took several days, several weeks of just playing around and trying to make everything fit. And as you can see in the 20 by 20 space, that was a challenge. So we went ahead and redrew the box. Instead of a 20 by 20, we tried it with a 16 by 24. And just did the same thing as before with the wall thickness and with the load-bearing wall. And just trying to make the space livable and functional and to fit everything in a way that doesn't feel like we're tripping over each other all the time. Still took a little while, still took a few days of playing with the graph and moving all the things around to figure out a layout that worked. But we were able to get everything in and have sufficient walkways for everything to be usable and to not be cramped, and something that we think will be very livable and functional for our family.
Hey, why are we not going with a prefab tiny shed like they've been mentioning in Tennessee a lot?
Everywhere they've been mentioning it. Yeah, all the comments. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, they've mentioned a company in Tennessee.
Yes,
on
the
a lot
tiny
of the comments,
homes.
the tiny home movement.
Incredible tiny
Incredible,
homes.
yeah.
Incredible tiny homes.
Which look incredible.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, looks good stuff.
But yeah, we didn't sell 10 acres down here.
Basically, well, I mean, you go for it.
Oh, wait, don't take a drink. Okay, yeah, we've looked into it and found out that while they're awesome, they're still very small. The one we were looking at was like 8 by 16, and that's not enough for a family of 4 with a cat and an indoor-outdoor dog to live in the entire time.
Yeah.
So, so
and
we're...
That was the smallest off-grid option, or the least expensive, and that was $20,000.
Yeah, and for probably not much more than that, maybe 25, we're looking at building something that's considerably larger. What are the dimensions?
It was 16 by 24.
Yeah.
We can do that for less than 25.
We can do that. Well, yeah, probably. I mean,
we can do it for like 15.
It depends on the foundation. We're still going back and forth about what kind of foundation we're going to look at. We investigated this company up there in Maine that uses these giant, basically metal screws to screw into the ground to reach a good point that allows you to have both foundation support and storm-wise support. And they'll sink down below the frost level, which is considerable up there, about 6 feet from what we've been reading. So it depends on the foundation used, but we'll probably be under or at least near the $25,000. They end up with a much larger, much better house. 2x6 foundation, framing, 12 by 12 pitch, good insulation, all sorts of good stuff.
And it's something that we'd be able to have an immediate use for after we build our primary home, which we've been calling the main house, spell that however you want.
However you want it.
But if we're doing a tiny house or an RV or some people were mentioning a shed,
Yeah.
we're kind of locked into no more than a 12-foot width, usually less, like a 10 or 8 foot, to get it on the road versus you paying a premium for delivery.
Yeah.
And he can't really use that for a workshop the way he'd be able to use what we're planning on
Yeah.
building. And there's been a lot of suggestions of, hey, you could just sell it right after you're done using it. And that is true in theory.
No, we could sell it.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be able to get any money off.
Yeah. We've yet to know anyone for whom this theory panned out. The toy hauler we bought as a livestock trailer,
Mm-hmm.
we paid half what they paid for it. They bought it to have they were going to do this thing with it. They decided not to do the thing with it. And so they tried to turn around and sell it. And it's not easy to sell these things.
No.
It's not easy. It's not. I've yet to see someone successfully sell it not at a huge loss.
Yeah, we're looking at probably at getting maybe 50% back, and that's just not a great investment.
No.
We'll be going up there in the spring, early summer, and teaching. I won't really start working again until August, so I'll have a solid 2 months up there to be able to get something knocked together. I can probably get it at least weather tight and insulated maybe by the 2 months. We move in, finish off the internal stuff.
I don't think we're going to have any trouble.
It just depends.
The two of us
Honestly,
full time?
Yeah, it just depends on weather for one thing. If we get a whole stretch of rainy days, we might not be able to do that much to it. But
Just in the past 2 years, you built three barns.
Three barns. Yeah. All still standing.
All still even after
Hurricanes.
2 hurricanes?
Yeah, most recent one. Little hurricanes.
Hurricanettes.
But yeah.
So we're not complete novices of this. We do have some experience. We have the tools for it already. And so it just makes so much more sense for us to build something that's to our specifications, has the roof pitch we want, has the wall insulation capabilities we want, has the size that will suit our needs both now and in the future. Because we don't need to spend $20,000 on something that's not going to serve us as well, and then that we're using for storage.
Yeah.
Or a guest house that's maybe 2 weeks a year.
Maybe. And this we'll have a section set aside of the medium house for guests and also for storage and workshop and things like that. So it'll be much more functional long term. And build it right, and it'll be a long term thing versus sheds usually don't seem to last more than about 10 years, or at least down here.
Yeah.
So same thing we looked at when we did looking briefly at a Connex shipping container. Problem with that is they'll last a long time. They're not that wide and not very usable as a house, just a single unit. Would work great as a shed or a workshop later on, but not too good in the living quarters for what you can get out of it. They're cheap and expensive, but we don't want to spend a whole lot of time and effort building something that's, for the same amount of, or less time and effort we could build a stick frame house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's really what it boils down to. It boils down to just feasibility and budget and long-term planning on what that structure is going to be used as. We don't want to sink $20,000 plus delivery.
Yeah.
Plus delivery.
Assuming you could get delivered up there.
Yeah.
Kind of a rough road and rough driveways.
Yeah. In order to not really be able to use it after 2 or 3 years, and it not really being as usable as something we could build for the same amount or less. Foundation?
Yeah, we've
we've looked
at that, or digging down to ledge, which apparently the rest of the world knows as basement rock or foundation bedrock. Excuse me.
It took a while to figure
out what ledge was. Yeah, bedrock, which is apparently fairly shallow up there. That's what our neighbor was saying, and that might be an option. Dig down to that, attach the concrete pillars to that, or something. We're just gonna have to wait until we get up there and figure out the situation. Running from everything from sitting on paving stones, cinder blocks, and adjusting for heave every so often to running all the way down to the bedrock and dropping concrete and drilling screws and things like that into it. It's just going to have to depend on what we see when we get up there and how much we're willing to spend on it.
Now we did get a quote back from the well drilling guy, and that's going to be between $8,000 and $9,000 to have a well drilled, which is exactly what we expected.
Yeah,
and
we
that's in the
budgeted
budget.
$8,000 for that.
Yeah, that's in the budget.
We're debating, excuse me, whether or not to do that or not. Our neighbor pointed out that his setup was dug by a backhoe down 14 feet, 12 feet, and he's just got a simple well down to that, and has never had it. Even in the driest summers, have never had the water level go below 3 feet. And he's a little bit lower down than we are, but not by much, so we may be able to just go that route, which would certainly be a lot cheaper. Some backhoe work, but then you get issues with shallow wells, just watching for surface contaminations with the livestock, gas, diesel, hydraulic oil, things like that.
The neighbor has been a wealth of information.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good man. We've been playing around with the idea, like, look, if we're already renting a backhoe or a excavator, yeah, thank you. Then maybe we just go, and we're already digging 12 feet or close enough, then why not, dig it out and have the pilings down to the frost line.
We'll see.
So yeah, we're still, the foundation is still very much in flux. So who made this suggestion? So I do read all of your comments, and it has gotten to the point where I'm not able to respond to all of them, but I do read every single comment, and y'all have some wonderful suggestions. So this suggestion came from Monica McCartney, talking about an app, floor plan creator by Marcin Lewandowski. And this is an app for doing floor plans and seeing them in 3D. And I started playing around with this, and this is an awesome little app. So I put the floor plan, the floor plan that we've been working with in here, and we're going to try to take a little 3D tour and see how well I can control the thing here.
We'll see.
All right, so this is the floor plan, just exactly as it was in the graph paper. And we are just going to go down here and hit the 3D button. And we're going to reset that view. Okay. So here is, now they didn't have like, they didn't have patio furniture. So this
We'll be rocking the office chairs on the front porch, apparently.
Yeah. I had to improvise just a little bit here. Okay, so I can go in like, oh God, okay. So we go in here, and this is the front porch, and how do I rotate? Okay, so here's our freezer. We decided there just wasn't enough room in the house for it, so decided to move it out onto the porch, and we're gonna have a little outdoor kitchen here, if I can figure it out. Okay, yeah, so there'd be like a little, that's where the propane oven will go, and just a little bit of counter space so that in the summer times I can do the cooking out on the front porch. I can do a lot of canning without heating up the house, and just without the mess there. Also, there just really wasn't room.
Yeah, not a whole lot of room.
Okay, stop it, go away. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to go through the front door, maybe. Okay, we're going to go through the front door. And this is the front door. Okay. Okay, so we go through the front door, and the sleeping loft is up there. And over here, right in the corner, is going to be the wood-burning stove. And I've given it, it didn't have a wood-burning stove. All it has was a fireplace, so pretend. And this, of course, it'll all have the it's in the corners.
Ductwork. Oh, what are you talking about? The heat?
The heat
shielding, yeah.
The heat shielding, of course, over here. And this is a tiny pergola that I sized down. It was the closest thing to like a wood holder log.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Firewood holder. I'm wondering what the heck that's for.
Yeah, it's a tiny
firewood holder.
It's a pergola, but pretend. I did my best here. I don't know how to work this program. So we move in here, and I will rotate. Okay, this fireplace. Above us is also a loft. It's at the front. Yeah. Mm, mm.
Yes, don't worry. We are highly competent and confident. We can build anything we set our minds to in real space.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we turn around here, and this is a little short wall that will support the loft. You said I only need to go 2 feet to support
Yeah,
4
we'll
feet.
do a
Yeah.
horizontal beam.
And all the weight is on this side anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and next to that, Josiah had the idea of like a shoe rack and just sort of having that as a built-in, having all the shoes there. And I'm thinking on the other side, we could have a shelf put in here for drinks and stuff. Now this is our sofa. So we have one of those sectional sofas or one of those modular um, sofas. It's in storage now,
As is everything.
as is everything. But we were able to get the dimensions for it off the website, and we have it's five-seater right now in order to fit the space that was in our old house. We still have all 5 sections. But the nice thing is we can actually, if need be, we can purchase more sections to add on. And so this configuration is adding a corner piece to turn our sofa into a sectional, and that would be 6 seats there, and just more comfy area. I rarely sit correctly in seats. I'm always, crossing my legs,
Crawling or leaning,
yeah. And then the kids, yeah. So just a little more seating would be nice. Of course, we have windows. This is all subject to change without any notice whatsoever. And one thing I really didn't want to compromise on was this table. So we have 4 chairs that we had custom made. They're beautiful. They're like some craftsman somewhere in Wisconsin or something made them for us. They're gorgeous. I really like the table we have. It's just the perfect size. And so this is going to be homeschooling. This is going to be eating meals. This is going to be putting the laptop on so that we can watch TV from the couch. This is going to be an extra food prep area for the kitchen for when I'm doing large stuff. This table is going to be central to living, and it's going to be in there. All right, and so we move on through the kitchen. Another thing I really wanted is I wanted to make sure we had a lot of cross breeze. So since we know where the prevailing winds are going to be coming from, it's probably going to be oriented this way. So facing in. So I wanted a lot of cross breezes.
Like an old shotgun shacks.
So I wanted to make sure we had windows on both ends or screen doors or something where the wind can come through and just breathe everything out as efficiently and nicely as possible. I love having the windows open whenever it's possible. And seeing as how we don't know how to manage a fireplace yet, I'm willing to bet there are times.
There's going to be times where it's like 14 degrees outside and we got half the windows in the house open. Just because someone wanted to make a pizza.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, yes, the making of the pizza. So cooking inside in the winter, this fireplace that is actually a wood burning stove, I've basically set these dimensions for the largest size wood burning stove that's also a cooking
stove
with an oven and a nice big top as a griddle or whatever cooktop. But that's the type of oven we're going to be looking for, is one you can cook in. I really want to learn how to do that. And in the summertime, I'll just use the outdoor kitchen. But most of the time, I'm probably going to be using that and seeing how that goes. And if I like that, then we might carry that idea into the primary house. If I don't like it, then we got propane.
We will adjust.
Yeah. So this will be a big shelving unit that will hold all of our, like the coffee maker and the bread machine and the things we use every day or multiple times a week that generally just take up counter space, because I'm not going to have a lot of counter space.
No.
And I've been watching a lot of Farmhouse Vernacular, and she's adorable. But she's convinced me on the merits of an unfitted kitchen. And so I have cabinets in here just because for the visual, but we're likely going to be using some tables that were from my old sewing room. He built me these wonderful butcher block tables. We'll seal them. I think I have an 8 foot length in there.
Yeah, I
and
think one's 8 foot, one's 5.
I have it written down
Yeah,
somewhere.
5, maybe 6.
Yeah,
Two different lengths, two
yeah.
different widths too. I think.
They're all in storage because they were useful to utilize the vertical space in the storage unit. But they would also be very useful here. And when we move out and into the main house, he's not stuck with a kitchen area
Yeah.
that's taking up valuable workspace. He'll be able to move those tables around, or we can remove the tables entirely. It'll be completely unfitted. So that would be good. Um, there's a refrigerator. That's another thing I was not willing to compromise on. I'm fine with I do a lot of our cooking. I cook almost for every meal. Uh, and it's fine to have 2, 3 months where we're camping and we're living out of a cooler for that. But if I'm going to be spending 2, maybe 3 years in this house, I want a full size fridge.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to compromise on that. Another thing we weren't willing to compromise on was our king size bed. We could have downgraded to a queen, but mostly the issue is we really like our mattress.
It's a good mattress.
Good
One of
mattress.
those purple,
It's a purple.
purple
Yeah.
or whatever they are called
How,
mattresses.
how long have we had this thing?
At least 6 or 7 years.
God, I love this mattress.
It's a good mattress.
Yeah, and we're emotionally invested in this mattress, and we just are not willing to give it up. So, in order to keep it, we will crawl.
Yeah.
Because there is no space over here. This is what 6 inches or something. You can't even shuffle.
No.
You can't even shuffle over.
Be just enough to be able to put a hand down to start to tuck the sheet in or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But we can crawl from the bottom. There will be storage underneath the beds. We will likely build shelves all along here to hold. I'm a big fan of the cubes.
There's a 12-inch 1 cube foot from
fabric cubes,
Amazon
yeah.
Prime Basics, whatever.
They're
Amazon Basics,
everywhere.
I think. Yeah, that's what we're using them from. Yeah, but they're great. We use them at the old house. We're using them now. We'll use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of those fabric cubes. That is my preferred organizational system because I just like folding things. Don't mind doing laundry. I despise, like to an unreasonable level, folding clothes. And you can just throw them in the fabric cubes and they look nice and tidy. You get a bunch of different colors and all matches. Very nice. So yeah, under the bed there will be storage. Above the bed there will be storage.
Around the bed there'll be storage.
Around the bed there will be storage.
A whole bunch of the storage.
Okay. So this is the, I guess the back door.
Yeah.
Especially since our primary door is right next to the giant fire pit of death. We definitely wanted a secondary exit door.
Also, in case of snow drifts, we're going to be kind of in a windy area up on the top of the hill. And I kind of was hesitant to walk outside, open the door, and just see a solid wall of snow. So back door kind of not facing the winds, probably not a bad idea. Just to, exit. Yeah,
because all the prevailing winds are coming from this direction here. All right, so that's the living room. That's the main bedroom. We'll go into the bathroom now. Ish. You walk around here. Obviously, this is the ladder to the loft. So the bathroom, basically, they ain't a lot of room. So what happens, this is a shower pan. It's a 48-inch by 36-inch shower pan. So essentially, you walk directly into the shower. All right. And there will be a curtain. I don't know where. Where am I? Oh, that's a window. I need to go up.
Oh, you're on the floor.
I'm very on the floor. How do I?
You're on the
there
floor.
We go. Okay, here we go. Very good. All right. Yeah. So I'm in the wall.
Oh, well, I've been there.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Now you're on the
so there we go. So there's the door.
Yep.
There's the door. You walk in. You walk in directly to the shower. And I don't think we haven't really decided if we're going to plumb this house.
The shower will obviously have a drain.
Yeah, we'll have a drain, but if we're just going to basically have a 5-gallon bucket and a pump, hand pump, we've seen those.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll definitely be using that while we're building this. We haven't decided yet if we want to fully plumb and pressurize the place, or if we want to pump into
More of a dry
some,
cabin approach.
yeah, or if we want to pump into something that's on the second floor and let it gravity feed. We don't know yet.
Working on it.
We don't know yet. But then the composting toilet will be here. So this will be your walking space. You'll have to walk into the
Yeah.
shower to get to the toilet, but you know what? It's an
Hey.
efficient use of space.
Yeah.
It's a very efficient use of space. And then there's space behind the toilet for basically a linen closet, and probably a few extra buckets of sawdust and things. All right, because this program is very lacking and did not have a proper composting toilet imagery.
We'll make sure to alert the developers.
Yes, of course, yes. This is a very good program.
90% of people, what's a composting toilet? Well, in case you're wondering, it's basically a bucket that you fill up with sawdust or peat moss or something similar, dirt, and then you use it as a toilet and use more sawdust or peat moss, whatever your substrate is, over on top of it to kind of seal in, shall we say, any of the odoriferousness. And then when it gets full, take it outside and dump it in a compost area where you're, composting it down. So we refer to it as, I will not use crapinabucket.com. Thinking about ordering that website, by the way.
Yeah. All right. So now up here, I have not figured out yet in this program how to make a hole in the floor. So we're going to pretend there's an access hole in the floor where the ladder goes up there, and we're going to go up here
into a loft.
There we go. Back up. All right. Yeah. Okay. Basically, this will be the boys' loft. Now, what we're thinking right now is that basically down here underneath the loft areas will be your standard 8-foot high framing, with the 6x8s. This section will be 6x10s, and then in the loft,
10-foot high sections.
10-foot high section.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
You did 6. Don't worry
about it. Okay. And then there will be what's this say? A riser wall?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, 2-foot riser wall within the lofts because we want that 45-degree roof
to start a little bit higher up.
Yeah. So we don't want right here to be a 0-degree, basically unusable space. So
a foot and a half or so.
And I've yet to figure out how this, if this program is capable of, giving me a visual on that. But the math tells me that the bunk beds should fit here, and if they don't fit there, they'll fit vertically. Because that in the middle obviously is the tallest. It'll be 10 feet tall.
Will also be collar ties going across.
That's true.
Not everyone has blue collar ties going across the rafters.
He knows how to build things.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Daddy fix. Right?
Daddy fix. Yeah. We'll get it figured out.
We'll get it figured out. But yeah, so there'll be space here. And they'll have actually a good amount of room to play and everything. And back here will be like a little closet area for them to store everything. There'll be storage under this bed. And you know what? Right now we do have one large closet, but we're also just utilizing the room under the beds. They have the bunk beds right now, and it's fine. We actually have storage left over, so we can make this work. And then the other loft, this ladder will be that kind that just detaches and you can walk it over. I've yet to find one that is reasonably priced, but I'll keep looking. I got time, and there'll be like a rod or something a mount that you hook on here. So most of the time, this will be the boys' room, and it'll just live right there. But when I need it, this will be my kitchen pantry storage area. This is a 4-foot. Yeah. Okay. This is a 4-foot loft. And again, so I could, angles. So there will be, shelving in the main area, and that main area.
Of built-ins.
Yeah, and that main area is supported by that wall. It's really just the walkway that's an overhang, and that's not supporting a whole lot of weight. But up here we'll have mostly my large things, large pots and pans, the pressure canner, I'll be doing laundry by hand. I'll need large bins and buckets and just the things I'm going to need, but not on a daily basis, like a weekly basis. I'll be able to go there. So we just record again. Okay.
And now
for part 2. Follow along with our intrepid explorers as we figure out how to live in a very, very small space. So,
Yeah.
return. Storage.
Yeah, so this would be the storage for just the large things
Mhm.
that I don't need every day, but I'm going to need, and that's where that will be.
Mhm.
And this is that's kind of it. That's the grand
Yep.
tour.
Yep.
Anything you wanted to add or thoughts?
No, probably end up putting the electrical system with the solar control and all that, probably behind the ladder,
Yeah.
going up somewhere in that wall right there,
Yeah.
basically. Just it's not a great spot because near the water, but it won't be like right by the shower, anyways. It'll be closer to the wall. So we'll just have to figure all this out once we figure out what we're doing with that too.
Oh, but one trick that my dad gave us, which I was very grateful for, my parents did all this 30 years ago. They bought land. There was like a single wide with a very not to code addition on it. And so they worked to pay that off and camped in that for years. I mean, compared to what they started with, he and I are playing this on God mode.
4 or 5 steps ahead.
Yeah, we're playing this on God mode compared to what my parents went through to build their homestead. But when they built this house, the one we're in right now, they were like, we're never going to be doing major repairs. We're going to build it and we're going to be done with it because we want to be done with it. And in our lives, basically every house we've lived in has needed some major subfloor work. Every single one.
I've basically told her that if we move up the main and the house that I built needs subfloor work, I'm just going to build a new house because I'm tired of replacing subfloors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just build a new house if need be.
Yeah.
But
yeah, to prevent the need for subfloors happening, because
don't use OSB is one thing.
Well, yes, that's a given. Don't use OSB for anything. What my father did was he just used pressure treated plywood for the subfloor everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially, he said, especially just anywhere there's going any chance of water dropping, the kitchen and the bathrooms. But he went ahead and did it everywhere, so that even if water does get to the subfloor, and it will, it's inevitable. You're living in this place, then it will not swell up and get damaged and rot. Because you can't get to it once it's at the subfloor. It's already there. Damage is done. But pressure treated plywood will not have that issue.
Nope.
And for this subfloor, it's a 16 by 24. So that's
And then of course that's not counting
the porch
area. The porch, which would be something probably decking or something like that.
But that's how many pieces of plywood?
No.
It's 2 by 6. So that's 12 sheets of plywood.
Something like that. So the price difference isn't huge when you compare it to regular flooring plywood.
I think I looked it up. It's like a $10 difference. It's $120 to never have this issue. It's for us especially. It's worth because we've done this in houses we are living in. We've had to rip the subfloors out.
Yeah, while we're living in it.
While we're living in it.
So yeah, that's the tour of the medium home.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how to get a roof on this thing yet.
Picture a triangle.
Yeah, no dormers, no nothing, just very simple things that we can do on our own. Oh, one other thing, I forgot to mention. So it didn't have it in the program. This is a rug in the program, but it's actually going to be our dog bed. I've sized it. For all of this has been sized. So this couch is the dimensions of the couch we own. This table is the dimensions of the table we own. All of these, the bed, obviously, it's just a king but yeah. But so this is actually our dog bed, and our primary door is going to be the front door. So, but if we need to get out the back door, we'll just scooch her over there because we're thinking the way it's set up, we actually have the how do you get over there? Yeah. The way it's we have the option of like putting a curtain or something here for privacy.
For a little bit of privacy.
Some of our other floor plans, it necessitated if the boys had to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, they'd have to basically kind of come into our area to use the door to access the bathroom. But the way this one worked out, that was not. So we actually have the possibility of some privacy.
That would be nice.
It's not something we have right now.
No. No, we're sharing a 10 by 20 foot room
Mm-hmm.
with our boys
Yeah. So
all the time. Well, except when they're here playing, but think, grown ups
yeah,
out there.
yeah. So it would be nice to have some visual
At the very
privacy.
least, yeah. What's that noise? Don't worry about that
Don't worry about
noise.
the noise. Go back to bed. Yeah. But yeah, but no, I think we can make this work.
Mhm.
I'm excited for the challenge. I've been watching a lot of videos on tiny house organization and getting a lot of really good ideas. YouTube is a wonderful thing. All right, what other things do we want to talk about?
What's in your magic list here?
You got a truck.
Yeah, bought a truck.
Yeah.
Still the Prius, but
Mhm.
was looking for. We got to make a decent pull with the toy hauler slash barn up there. So we kind of wanted something that could tow decently, but we didn't. We weren't going to be planning on. That's just going to be its last move, realistically. You didn't really need a big, heavy duty F-350 or something like that. So I was hunting around for a decent half ton that could tow that, and found one with got a 2013 F-150 four-wheel drive, of course.
With the EcoBoost, and that seems to be able to suit most of our needs. It's got four-wheel drive, and it's got the locker on the back end, electronic locker, and got a pretty good deal on it. It's only got like 72,000 miles on it, so it's a pretty nice little setup. And
Has four-wheel drive.
of course, but we wanted a half ton just so we're not beat to death on the roads too much, because it won't be towing that much that often. Maybe tractor implements or whatever. So it's not going to be towing full time all the time, so we won't need a heavy truck. And diesel prices up there are hilarious if you want to look at it that way. Well over $5 or $6 a gallon, and it's expected to be that way for a while because at this point in time there's diesel shortage and it's very expensive up there because some people use it for heating or use kerosene at least. So we decided to go with the gasoline model. And took it camping the other day and got right at 20 miles per gallon just driving the back roads, so it's not bad.
Not as good as our 46 mile gallon.
Not as good as the Prius, but
for a truck, pretty good.
For a truck, pretty good. So everyone who said, "Oh, ditch the Prius and get a truck." Well, we got a truck, but we're keeping the Prius for now. I may have to jack it up and put I'm looking at those tank treads you get for off-road trucks or UTVs. I'm betting the UTV wants to fill in the Prius just fine, but cruising up with a hybrid. You know what?
That'd be a sick looking Prius, right? Treads on it.
Yeah, maybe look at those mat tracks for the Prius. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, no, the Prius stays. We love the Prius. The Prius stays. If we gotta jack it up, we will. But
No, sorry.
no, yeah, your thing. Okay. Thank you all again. We will try to keep you updated. I think at least one of these a month,
Yeah, something like that,
and just what we're thinking about and the problem solving we're doing, what we're researching, and keep those comments coming because we've been using a lot. It's been useful. Yeah. All right, that's it.
That's all I got. Good.
Right. Thank you all again very much. See you next time. All right, we need to give a few more details about the truck, and we need to do a quick intro and extra. Exit ticket.
That
doesn't sound right though.
No, because that's not right. Extra is not a word.
I can make it. I am a published novelist. I can make it.
You know what? Okay.